Hey guys, I'm Dob. Today I'm back with some hot Empire action. The Empire has a lot of very specialized tools. They are very much a combined arms faction. None is perhaps more specialized than the mortar wagon, which of course mounts mortars in the back of some armored wagons, giving them both speed, mobility, and survivability. And especially against a faction like the Wood Elves, where you can guarantee pretty much low armor targets for high value. You'll definitely find some good targets to shoot at, although it's Twilight already responding there with that Arrows of Kurnos to nuke one unit model. So we've got these two, plus Volkmar the Grim up front. It's been a while since I've seen Volkmar. Supposedly there was like a stealth fix to chariots in this last patch, so I'll have to go through and check, especially some of the chariot lords like Volkmar, who used to be quite good these days. Are not so much, but we've got some Free Company and archers here, a line of spearmen, fire wizard here, bright wizard, some Empire Knights around the flanks, so a nice big full combined arms Empire army, grenade launchers as well for a little bit of auxiliary explosion support. As for the Wood Elves, we've got Sisters of Twilight here, a mess of Dryads, and a Waystalker. Looks like Glade Riders with Spears, backed up by Stag Knights, a couple of Colonel Guards in the back as well. This side, yeah, Stag Knights, Glade Riders, more Glade Riders, and Vanguards. So let's get things rolling. Floor of Lifecaster on both sides. Or sorry, no, on just the Wood Elf side. Lore of Fire, quite different, must be said. But Volkmar's going to charge on in. His magic and fire damage generally has made him a pretty good pick in this matchup. AoE buffs also. Let's see if he's actually brought them. Does look like he has them, which makes those Empire State troops potentially trade a lot more effectively into stuff like Dryads. But yeah, Empire Knights facing great Stag Knights out on the flank. It's going to be a tough bet, but they do get Flaming Sword of Ruin to help them cut through that physical resistance there, and it looks like we're also going to see a Flame Storm actually get unleashed, so wild. Looking for some heavy damage here, of course. In the 4.1 update, most Vortexes were given the same slow speed as Flame Storm. No, that's Banishment. Okay, Banishment from Volkmar himself, of course. Another great AoE damage option. But Wood Elves are pushing up on this other side as well. The Glade Riders losing out, not surprising, but then the Stag Knights are able to move in and win very decisively. Other Glade Riders trying to dive the backline with these War Wagon mortars here, which are able to be pushed back by the Free Company in defense. So Glade Riders can get out, War Wagons can get free and start shooting again. They're honestly better against more, against more archer-focused builds. But certainly, I mean, pretty much against just about any Wood Elf build, you'll find decent targets to shoot at with them, as long as you can keep them protected. Volkmar and the Empire Knights doing a nice job of keeping the mobility of the Wood Elves tangled up here, as Coops, longtime friend of the channel, regular spitter, replays, patron, all that, is playing the Wood Elves here, is starting to break through on his infantry a little bit, and also trying to get the Stag Knights away, use that higher speed, but they're pretty well trapped and having a hard time extricating themselves from the Empire Knights. But Volkmar started to take some damage over time from the Sisters of Twilight, so have to be careful of that. A little bit of Burning Head there to kind of equalize the infantry fight, to help the Empire State troops win out in this particular vicinity. Although they do take some horrific friendly fire damage there at the tail end of that spell. So definitely, basically neck and neck, both players losing a lot, but also dealing a lot of damage in return. Stag Knights are now going to move back and try and get after the mortar wagons, and there's not really much to protect them, so that heavy AP damage will come into play from both sides, actually. It looks like the Stag Knights are moving in, but Volkmar's coming through. He hits those Dryads, and let's see if he comes all the way back, or if he just tries to stay against the infantry. No, and it looks like actually the Stag Knights, due to them being so few in number, don't necessarily connect on the best charge right there. They're actually also going after the more healthy War Wagon, and this other one, 2 unit models already down. Probably could have been finished off if they had been targeted directly by that charge. But alas, it's still good to get in and disrupt those War Wagons, do some damage. You can see here, one of this unit fell to the Stag Knights. Volkmar eventually moves in and pushes them away. His AoE damage is honestly one of the things that makes him so good. Apologies about my voice, guys. It's a little bit rough today, but yeah, that Grand Soulfire and Banishment both just very strong AoE damage against low armor targets that rely on physical resistance, which is pretty much all of Wood Elves. Yes, technically the tree and tree men do have good armor, but Dryads, I mean, 60 is good. It's not great. Like, I wouldn't even consider that heavy armor. I'd consider that still medium armor. I don't know. Kind of arbitrary at the end of the day. But another Burning Head goes through, rips up that Dryad, and it looks like Stag Knights are, has their work cut out for them a little bit. But yeah, probably should start targeting Volkmar himself at this point. They've dealt with just about everything else, and as long as you can try and bait out the Soul Fires and not take them directly, you know, into the Cav blob, it should be possible for the Stag Knights to win. But the problem is if they get too blobbed up and then Volkmar is able to get a good cast of that before too many can escape, it will do quite a bit of bombardment damage. But let's see here. Volkmar just holding out like an absolute Chad. Grand Shield of Faith, Hammer of Sigmar, mostly on just himself, as, yeah, there's basically no supporting troops except for the clutch mortar wagons, which have come back from route and, due to their long range, can help affect this battle at such a distance. Stag Knights fail to break through those spearmen initially, kind of get stopped up a little bit there. Eventually, we'll be able to get through and silence that other mortar, but even still, I mean, we've got this one back online, and although the damage itself is not going to be particularly impactful at this point in the game, the leadership damage is, given that being attacked by artillery gives a pretty significant leadership debuff just in and of itself. So if they can land hits here, it might be important, but let's see. It is targeting units way out there, trying to make sure those Dryads stay routed off. Clutch archers here, standing firm with a few more state troops holding at the edge of the woods. Volkmar's definitely starting to get to his healing cap. It's going to be in the danger zone very soon. Yeah, it doesn't look like those mortars were able to get off too many impactful shots. They're mostly just targeting that Dryad. I guess they did keep it from coming back from route, but that it's going to have to be Volkmar. I don't know. Looking pretty grim for the Empire, no pun intended. We'll fast forward a little bit through this as Volkmar makes his hot pursuit. It's plinked down by the Sisters of Twilight. Another nice Burning Head, though, and of course the Terror of Volkmar should be able to help see some of these troops off. The one healthy archer unit that was kind of supporting there takes a nasty charge from the Stag Knights. But it's not going to be too much longer until the Sisters of Twilight are completely out of ammunition. And yeah, with the Fire Mage still being alive, I almost wonder if Koops maybe should have dedicated some resources to try and kill the Fire Mage. Well, it looks like he did just that, and eventually is able to actually kill Volkmar, so it doesn't end up mattering in the end. But very fun one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Yeah, Koops executed his build fairly well in terms of winning out on the flanks pretty decisively against Empire mobility. It then gives him a chance to chase down the mortar wagons and make sure they aren't particularly effective. Volkmar's a great pick here, it seems, again, but some of the rest of the build did tend to struggle a little bit here. I mean, obviously the Free Company and the Archers are okay picks. Some of them are reasonably cost-effective, but it's hard to not just go with Huntsmen here because they're so good against the low armor large of the Wood Elves. But anyway, certainly a fun one. Yeah, from Coop's side here, in terms of damage value, definitely this is Twilight taking out Volkmar, super clutch. Also, for how cheap the Waystalkers are, should pretty much always be including one if you have space in your build. It's almost always worth it to cut other units to have the gold to bring at least one, even if you don't have any abilities on him, but especially with Arrows of Kernels can help counter-snipe artillery pieces, which often are the bane of the Wood Elves, but the Stag Knights here are really the heavy hitters for Koops, able to move in and just annihilate cavalry on the flanks, get good damage on the mortar wagons. Didn't quite get finished off there by the end by Volkmar's bombardments, so it's definitely an interesting one. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. I certainly enjoyed. If you did as well, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.